to the universe, to other human beings. But because we've given this platform on social media, it's this whole thing I've got going on where I tell people to lead with love. That's not bullshit. That is something I have found that if I lead with love and do as you just said, Todd, help somebody else, tell somebody they look nice today out of genuine prowess, tell them their whatever, their hair, their outfit. If I can make somebody laugh today, that's me leading with love. It's not corny, it's genuine. It's what I want to do. Rather than, I think that we have given the opportunity for people out there, instead of doing something as simple as you said, hold a door open, pick up somebody, dropped a dime, give it back to them, whatever it was. But you get to lead with hate. You get to. You get an opportunity to lead with venom. And I'm a person now where if I find a post, because I'm a huge Facebook person, I'm a huge LinkedIn fan now, Instagram, all of them. I have I was so bad that now I have to set time limits because I get caught up on puppy and kitty videos. I can't help it. But I click on posts now and I read the comments below, and there are a lot of things out there that people will just share without clicking on the remarks below, and they're sharing hate. And if you click on those comments, you will see justification. You'll see this is not true. This is a false post. This is whatever. And the truth is sometimes in those comments. But also buried in those comments is just hatred, people calling each other names, all the things that we were taught not to do. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And what in the end all be all creates anxiety.
Yes.
Nothing you can fire up somebody more upon is talking about politics. And you'll never hear me do it.
Yeah.
Never, not once.
Man,
you can get a shitstorm started in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean,
I
can't
and for
do
what?
it.
You know what I tell people?
What's that?
When people start that baloney, and I'll say, then I suggest that you start out low and start running for city council and work your way up until you're the president of the United States and you can do what you want and how you want to do it and how you think things should be done. Until then, cast your vote. You did your duty. That's the end of it.
Yeah. Well,
whomever sits in that chair, then so be it.
Well, and I look at, okay, so let's just, and believe me, that's also on this show. This is not political. This is all about, we're talking about anxiety. And I know that you can read something and I can read something and I can feel my blood boil. I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I have to pull away from, that is the death of us. That's the death of us in social media. And here's what I mean by that. When I see those things, and I actually think, and I look at my little base, I don't know how many friends I have on there. What am I doing? Am I making their day better? Or am I creating a firestorm? Is this really going to make a difference with my little platform? I'm a huge believer, I'm a writer. And I love to write, and I love to not think about writing. I love to write because it brings validation to my thoughts. So whatever I'm putting out there, if I put something mean, and I was bad back with the election, oh my God, I wasn't voting, I wasn't on either side. I just felt this certain way about this person, and I just felt like I got to get this out of my system. For what? Who cares? Who cares what Bev thinks? Really? Are people really, oh, Bev, that's a good point. I'm going to start following you. Oh, okay. No. And so what I realized is every time I did that, I was validating hate, and I was lacking trust, and I was lacking faith in what could possibly be.
Well, we got to bump our head somewhere along the road. I've done it a million times.
You do. You got to bump your head.
You do. And it gets to the point where your pain becomes greater than your fear of change. Because it's like beating your head against the wall to get rid of a headache.
Yeah.
There's no solution. That's what we do.
You got good ones. That's good. That's good stuff.
It's such a common practice amongst human beings. Because, I would, for the longest time, I'd bite my own nose off to spite my face.
Uh-huh.
And when we do these things, and when we'll look, okay, say you post something political or whatever it may be,
Uh-huh.
and there'll be 1,000 comments on there. All you need and all you'll focus on is that one that co-signs your baloney.
Yeah.
And you'll feel validated. Now, like what you were talking about doing the show, am I making somebody else happy? Am I making a difference? The bottom line question is, are you happy doing it, Aunt Bev?
Oh, my God.
See,
You're going to make me cry.
One
I have so much joy in my heart to do this.
Yeah, and I am the only one responsible for my own happiness. So it doesn't matter. As long as you're happy doing it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Tim and I were talking about it, and I said, I cannot believe how my life has changed since so he works far away, so we're getting up at 4:30, and then I see him off to work like it's 1950s. The only thing I'm missing is a dress and pearls. So I see him off to work. Then once he leaves, then I go into exercise mode, picking up the house. I usually have show notes to bounce off of, but I never know what's going to happen once I start talking. It's true. But then preparing to do the show, I know what joy is. I know it.
Yeah.
And I just never thought I would feel that. And then to have you on here and us be able to banter and talk like this, honest to God, these are absolute tears of joy. It's just so much.
And it's constant growth, and it's such a blessing because we get to communicate on such a fun level. Because it's just amazing doing this. It's like we're basically talking on the phone.
It is. It really is.
But I do the exact same thing you do with them with Carla, my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves for work at 6:30 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and the minute the alarm goes off, I get up and I get her lunch and stuff ready,
See?
and this, that, and the other thing, and see her off to work, and I always tell her I love her, even if we're you and her in a fight, no matter what. And see her off to work, and then I come back in and do my thing. And just like her, like with what you're doing, how much you love it. Watching and hearing somebody is just a joy. Like, it blows my mind listening. When I started listening to your podcast, one of the first things you started listening or talking about was your birthwork.
Yeah.
And how it affected you throughout your whole life. And there's a girl on Carlin's rugby team that has one over her eye and comes down the side of her face, real dark, like yours used to be when you were real young.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Doesn't affect her that one bit. I mean, just as,
No,
doesn't.
I know.
But on that same token, like watching her play rugby, when she first said it, she's like, I'm going to play rugby. I'm like, seriously? Rugby's, it's not even a common sport. And, she's a girl to boot.
Yeah.
And these women are vicious. And I get the biggest kick out of it because nothing I like more when somebody tells me I can't do something. Now, you turn around and tell women they can't play rugby, and said the other thing. These girls get down. And I mean, they are brutal.
Oh, my gosh.
But after the game, they all get together, both teams, and they have what's called a social, and they all hang out together. So they play the competitive part. They put any type of friendship or whatever may be aside, play the game, and when we're done, we're all buddies again. I didn't even do that in high school. When we played high school football, after the game, we would go, to the other team's territory and want a fist fight and things of that nature.
Right.
That was years ago. But
Sure. No.
but this is a very, very, very socially acceptable social sport, and it's really cool. And then once she has this love of the game that's just amazing. So that made me even more excited about it. So I learned a whole bunch about it, did a lot of reading, did a lot of research on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I get a kick out of it. Now I know rules and stuff. I'm not just watching people run up and down the field in shorts,
Right. Yeah.
throwing this oval shaped ball around. When you see a passion in somebody else's eyes and what they're doing and seeing true happiness in them, that's where it's at, man. Those are the things like you doing this show. Have you ever been this open in your whole life? Not only that, but to do it on the wide open airwaves. No.
No.
Look what you're doing. Big things. You change
It's
me. You make my Tuesday every Tuesday. Like, I can't wait. Like, you're sitting there going, are you going to be on tomorrow? Well, yeah. I'm still waiting to get on.
I want to make sure that, because it's such an honor and I just appreciate your time so much. And
Why are you crying already?
I am so happy, and you're asking me questions. I was supposed to be asking you stuff. Oh,
Oh,
man. You went right there. And I really am. And it was, every time, I get set up and you get to name your show and that kind of stuff. And every time I do that, I take a big, deep breath and, that whole inhale, exhale thing and put my air out to the universe. And I just simply say, I'm, I'm almost, it is intentional. I'm doing this and leading with intention. It's intentional. Tim got me a microphone. He got me set up with this. He did all these things, so it is intentional. But what happens beyond that is just magic. And I often am at a place where it's like, okay, this really is happening. Really. And it's not arrogant. I'm being driven. Somebody is at the wheel. But I'll tell you something, Todd. Not once. And I used to do the show in the evenings. I'm less of an evening person. I remember when I worked retail, God, I hated going at 4 o'clock. I'm just not that person. But like I said, starting off at 4:30, doing this, doing that, all in preparation to get ready for this show, and then I'm going to go work 8 hours, and do something else that I absolutely love. We're just kind of looking at each other going, okay, is this is how it's supposed to be? Maybe. I don't know, but it sure is magical, and I feel very blessed. And a lot of times I'll think, okay, we're going to talk about this, and I'll have some notes over to the left, just little bullet points, not big stuff. And I'll have notes, and I get so caught up in other things, and it's like, well, okay, God, that was what I was supposed to talk about today instead. And then sure enough, I'll get like an email or a message, or somebody will post publicly, like on LinkedIn. Somebody will say, great show. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. And that's all I want to do, Todd. That's all I want to do. And I'm so
that's why I
excited
tell
every day.
people. Yeah, and I tell people all the time, never give up on your hopes and dreams. Never give up on what life has still yet to come for you. You have no idea what's up. Would you would have thought you'd be doing this 30 years ago?
No,
God, no.
but I dreamt. I've been pretending I had a microphone or telling a story or teaching a class ever since I can remember. I know I was 5 years old and was so jealous of my kindergarten teacher. And I was jealous mainly because she could cut out a tree. Remember cut out trees? And I was jealous
Oh,
of
yeah.
her cutting abilities. I could never cut with scissors like teachers, and I always was so jealous. And the chalk, and there was a difference between the chalkboards that my mom and dad bought me, because they must have bought me 10, because they kept being wrong, and they weren't the real chalkboard, like rough, like at the schools. And there would be things wrong with them, but they kept trying. They knew. My mom and dad knew. And my dad would tell me, go, if I seemed like I was bored, he'd say, go write a book, go write stuff down, Bev. And if you don't know about it, go read about it. And my dad took me to the library. We would go to the library and just to hang out in the peace of those floor to ceiling books. And you know, it was a good handful of times that we would do this that are stuck in my memory, and the smell